If hell had a lobby, it would look exactly like my emergency room at 2:47 a.m. Monitors beeping like they're auditioning for a horror movie, nurses running, people screaming, and me wrangling someone's arterial spray while trying not to spill my coffee. That's when the doors slam open and the universe, apparently bored, drops a 6-foot-something bleeding alpha slab of muscle right onto my shift. I look at him, then at the ceiling, then back at him. Of course, I mutter, snapping gloves on. The universe drops a 6-foot murder machine on my shift, because why not? I didn't want peace anyway. He's half conscious, but the way he's sniffing the air? No. No. Don't you dare scent track me, sir. I have a job and it doesn't include becoming a chew toy for mystery alphas. I lean over him anyway because unfortunately my medical license requires compassion. Hey, eyes here. Can you hear me? Bleeding out is bad for your complexion. His eyelids twitch, his fingers curl, and then he inhales. Deeply. Right by my neck. You have got to be kidding me. Sir, I say flatly, unless you're smelling internal bleeding, can you not do that? He murmurs something, too low to catch, but his eyes fix on me with a weird laser-like intensity that screams feral but expensive. Great, just what I needed. A pretty alpha with issues. I start stitching his side, muttering under my breath, if you bite, I swear I'll staple your mouth shut. He doesn't bite. He does, however, lean toward me again, nose practically brushing my throat. His pheromones flare, expensive cologne mixed with something warm, like smoke and pine. He whispers, barely conscious, your scent? My hand freezes. Nope, absolutely not. I didn't clock in for this. I shove an oxygen mask onto his face. Here, oxygen. Breathe on that instead of me. He drifts in and out while I patch him up. I go to do his chart because paperwork is eternal torture. When I return, he's awake. Not fully, but enough that his eyes lock onto me like I'm the last donut in the break room. I reach for the IV line. The alpha suddenly grabs my wrist, warm, big hand locking around me with surprising strength. His voice is rough, deep, dripping with a kind of possessiveness that should not be allowed in a hospital. Don't let anyone else touch me. I blink, hard. Sir, this is a hospital, not a dating app. He doesn't blink. Just stares at me like I've personally offended the moon. His lips part slightly. Your scent? It calms me. I aggressively ignore the way my ears get hot. No. See, now you're saying weird things. Focus on staying alive. Leave my scent out of your hobbies. He still doesn't release my wrist. I yank it back with the power of an offended librarian. Good talk, don't get up, or do. You look like the type who ignores medical advice for fun. His eyes follow me as I move around his bed, like he's imprinting on every twitch I make. A nurse passes behind me. The alpha's pheromones spike, possessive, sharp, directed at the nurse. Oh no, I groan. Do not start a territorial scent war in my ER. I'm tired. He growls, actual growl, until I stand right next to him again. Then, he calms, just like that. I stare at him. You're weird, he murmurs. Don't leave. I'm literally going 2 meters to get a bandage. Calm down, Forest Wolf. 15 minutes later, after writing a year's worth of medical notes for one man, I go back to check on him. And the bed is empty. Empty. No patient, no gown, no IV, just an annoying dent where he used to be. I stand there, blinking like my brain blue-screened. Okay, who... Let the giant alpha escape? A nurse points at the security monitor. We watch footage together. On the screen, the same alpha, walking down the hallway like he's leaving a spa, arm still bleeding. My jaw dropped internally. He even nods politely at a janitor on the way out. I pinch the bridge of my nose so hard I see God. Fantastic, I mutter. I stitched up a mafioso who repays me by making me look incompetent. The nurse asks, should we call security? For what? He walked out like he owns the building. Security would probably hold the door for him. I should call my supervisor. I should file a missing patient report. Instead, I flop into a chair and let my soul exit my body. Great start to the night. Perfect. Love this job. Love being scent-stalked by a pretty alpha who thinks hospitals are optional. Then, as if mocking me, his chart prints out one final note. Patient name, self-reported. Alan Reed. I stare at the name. My brain. Nice. Sounds like someone who stabs people for a living. My mouth. I hope he at least paid his bill. A soft breeze moves through the hallway, unnatural in a sealed hospital. I smell something faint. Smoke. Pine. Warm amber. His scent. Lingering. Clinging. Like he was marking the space without touching it. I swallow. Uncomfortable. Confused. Weirdly flustered. No, I whisper to myself. Nope. Not catching feelings for a bleeding alpha who ghosted me through the front door. I gather my things. I still have half a shift left and my brain already feels like mashed potatoes. Before I leave the ER bay, I look once more at the empty bed. Something tells me this isn't the last I'll see of him, unfortunately, because my life is not a romance. It's a cosmic joke with a deranged alpha cameo. I sigh. What a night. If only I knew how much worse it was about to get. I should have gone home earlier. I knew I should have gone home earlier. But no. I stayed back to finish paperwork because, apparently, I enjoy suffering. So here I am, walking down a quiet road at 1 a.m., exhausted, caffeinated, and mentally committed to eating instant noodles the moment I reach home. Then, because the universe hates me on a personal level, 5 men step out of an alley, knives in hand. In modern clothing, I stop. They grin. I blink at them like they're a mildly annoying pop-up ad. Wow, I deadpan. Great timing. Couldn't this happen on my day off? They spread out and circle me. One of them smirks. Be quiet and come here. I raise a hand. Sir, I've had a long shift. If you're going to stab me, can you at least be quick? I have noodles waiting. That actually makes one of them pause, but only for a second. Then they rush me. And wow, apparently I rush myself, because adrenaline kicks in and suddenly I'm ducking, dodging, and swinging my bag like a frying pan. I manage to clock one in the face. Another catches my arm with his knife, just a small cut, but enough to sting like betrayal. I hiss. Oh, fantastic. I'm bleeding again. My laundry thanks you. They close in, ready to finish whatever they started. When the sound of multiple engines rips through the street, tires screech, doors slam, and a second group of men, all in black suits, storms toward us. For a second, I think I hallucinated. But no, they're real, and they're fighting my attackers like they trained on YouTube speedrun videos. I stand there bleeding, clutching my bag, internally screaming, "What is happening? Why do 2 gangs want me? I'm not even that interesting." Within minutes, the first gang runs, or limps, or gets dragged away unconscious. And the suited men? They form a perfect line and bow at me. Sir Jay, their leader says, please come with us. Boss's orders. I stare, blink, point at myself. Me? Sir? I work in an ER and eat cup noodles. I'm not a sir. Why would I go anywhere with you? What if you kill me? Do I look stupid? Yes, one of them answers sincerely. I choke. No, hey, stop. What are you doing? Put me down. Because yes. 2 men lift me like a sack of rice, one on each side, completely ignoring my protests. Hey, I'm fragile. I have injuries. I'm emotionally unstable. Put me. They throw me into the backseat of a black car. Door slams, engine roars, and off we go. I lie there on the leather seat, hair messed up, bleeding slightly, and wondering if I should scream or nap. I choose silence. Because at this point, I'm too tired to panic. The car speeds through the city, then out of the city, then farther out of the city. Buildings disappear, streetlights vanish, civilization, gone. I press my face to the window. Are we going into the woods? Are you taking me to a murder cabin? Look, I have standards. If you're going to kill me, at least pick a place with Wi-Fi. The driver glances back in the mirror. Please rest, sir. Oh, wow, polite murderers. How comforting, he adds. Boss will explain everything. Your boss can explain from a safe distance where I'm not kidnapped. He doesn't reply. I sulk dramatically. The car finally slows. Through the trees, I see a mansion. No, a mansion. Huge, silent, surrounded by forest like something out of a gothic movie. The moon hangs above it. The wind whistles. An owl hoots ominously. I deadpan at the window. Of course, kidnapping, but make it luxury. 2 bodyguards open my door. Sir Jay, please follow us. I am not your sir. I am barely functional, and also still technically kidnapped. They ignore that. We walk through massive doors into a gleaming hall of polished marble, chandeliers, expensive carpets, and more guarded men than I want to acknowledge. This way, one says. We pass multiple doors, long corridors, and enough opulence to pay off my student loans 10 times over. Finally, they open a door. A clean guest room, big bed, warm lighting, private bathroom. This is your room. Boss will meet you later. They bow again. Why is everyone bowing? And leave. Door shuts. Silence. I stand there, alone, in a mansion, in the middle of a forest, after being gang fought over and thrown into a car. And so I got kidnapped to a rich house. I mutter. Couldn't you at least give me a snack, a juice box, something? Nothing answers. My brain spins. Who is their boss? Why me? Why the ER? Why tonight? Why is my life like this? I sit on the bed, staring at my bandaged arm. My heart is still racing. Fear, confusion, annoyance. Mostly annoyance. Because frankly, I am too tired to be terrified properly. I lie back, closing my eyes for a second. Then freeze. There's a scent in the air. Warm, smoky, amber. The exact same one from the ER. My eyes snap open. No way, no. He wouldn't be here, right? Before I can spiral any deeper, a soft knock echoes through the hallway. I go rigid, but no one enters. Just silence, lingering, and that familiar scent drifting faintly under the door. My stomach twists. My mind is a mess. And somehow, a part of me already knows whose mansion this is. I'm not saying I'm a genius, but I also don't think you need a genius-level IQ to know that. Kidnapping for bad. Mansion in a forest, suspicious. No snacks, crimes against humanity. So after pacing my assigned guest room for about an hour, I decide that sleeping like a well-behaved hostage is not happening. I crack the door open. The hallway is quiet, dim, and designed like the house of a billionaire who thinks lighting is optional. I tiptoe like a cartoon burglar. Every floorboard creaks. Every shadow looks like a hired assassin. Every painting is staring at me with judgment. Okay, I whisper to myself. If I die, at least I died trying to escape, not politely waiting like a potted plant. I check the front door. Locked. I check the back door. Locked. I check the windows. Bulletproof. Wow, I mutter. It's nice to know my kidnappers care about safety. The mansion goes on for what feels like 20 kilometers, hall after hall, door after door. When suddenly, a faint glow catches my eye. A single door at the end of a side corridor has light leaking from underneath it. I freeze. My brain decides to analyze this logically. 1. Light. Someone is awake. 2. Someone awake. Fear danger. 3. Therefore, I should avoid. My feet ignore all of that and walk straight toward it. Of course, I whisper. Why listen to logic when curiosity wants me dead? I reach the door, slowly push it open, and the moment I step inside, I go still. Because this isn't a bedroom, it's a hospital room, machines everywhere, cardiac monitor, IV stands, wires, oxygen tanks, surgical-grade lighting. It smells sterile and expensive, like a private ward for rich people who refuse to use government hospitals. And the bed? Empty. I stare at it, then squint, then whisper dramatically, Bro, did they kidnap me to make me their personal doctor? Am I the discount nurse? Did they see my resume and think, yeah, he'll work for free? I wander around the machines, poking at buttons I probably shouldn't. Everything is clean, prepared, waiting for someone. There's only one conclusion left. Whoever this boss is, someone tried to kill him. Recently. I rub my jaw, thinking, okay, so maybe they didn't kidnap me for my organs. Maybe they kidnapped me for cheap medical labor. Honestly, even worse. I lean down to check a tray of medical tools. when a voice behind me freezes my soul. I didn't know you were this eager, the voice purrs, low and warm behind me, to come to my bed. I scream internally. Externally, I choke and fling a tongue depressor at the source of the voice. I whirl around, and there he is, the ER alpha, the bleeding, half-dead, terrifying, scent-obsessed alpha who walked out of the hospital like he wasn't leaking his own blood. Alan. He steps out of the shadow like he was sculpted by someone with way too much time and a perfume fetish. His eyes lock on me immediately. Then, he frowns. Your jaw, he murmurs softly. He steps closer, too close. Close enough that his scent curls around me again. Warm amber, smoke, and something sharp that makes my brain feel fizzy. Before I can snap at him, he reaches out, tilts my chin, and touches the bruise on my jaw from earlier. This wasn't here before, he says, voice dropping into something dark and dangerous. Someone hurt you. I shove his hand away with an offended scoff. My jaw is fine, thank you. And you are the reason I even got dragged into a double gang fight today. So maybe don't pretend like you're my personal guardian angel. He doesn't listen. Instead, he pulls out a small medical kit from the counter like it's the most normal thing ever and gently presses a bandage to my bruise. I freeze, because his fingers are warm, careful, almost tender. He leans in, whispering near my skin. I would prefer if your scent never smelled like pain again. My brain short circuits. Hey, what kind of romantic mafia nonsense are you? Sir, step back. He steps closer. His chest almost touches mine. I followed your scent all through the house, he murmurs. It pulled me out of bed. It always does. My brain. Rebooting noises. I wasn't looking for you, I say quickly. I was looking for the exit, actually. To leave. Away. Far. I know, he says calmly. Then his eyes darken. Someone from your pack tried to kill you. I blink, then laugh, then point at myself. Me? They barely know I exist. I'm like the weird cousin no one invites to weddings. If they wanted to kill someone, I'm the last Omega they'd pick. Alan shakes his head. You're wrong. They were looking for you. The first group tonight was not my men. Oh, great, I say. So the murderers were real, and the rescuers were also real, and meanwhile I'm here playing... What? Medical hostage? Omega treasure? Mystery patient? What am I to you people? He steps closer again. You, Alan says softly, voice dipping like warm honey, are the only scent that steadies me. I almost choke. Sir, please, I am just trying to emotionally survive this night. I take a step back. He catches my wrist. I yank. His grip is iron. Then, there's the sound of tearing. I look down. His stitches have ripped open. Blood stains his shirt. Oh, great, I mutter. Fantastic. Amazing. I just reopened your wounds because you insist on grabbing me like a clingy jungle vine. He raises an eyebrow. You're the one running away from me. And you, I jab a finger at him, are supposed to be in bed, resting, recovering, not sneaking around dramatically in your own mansion like a budget Dracula. He smirks. Didn't know you were worried. I'm not. I'm just, sit down. I drag him by the wrist to the bed. He sits obediently, which for some reason annoys me even more. I disinfect the wound aggressively. He hisses. I glare. Good, I say. Pain builds character. He watches me quietly as I stitch him up again. His gaze softens. You look beautiful when you're angry. I drop the needle. What? No, don't say things like that while I have sharp objects in my hand. He smiles. A small one. Barely there. Enough to make my stomach flip. I tape the dressing down with unnecessary force. Stop flirting or whatever this is. I already got kidnapped today. You're safe here, he says quietly. I don't feel safe, I snap. You will, he answers. His eyes lock onto mine. And I will keep you close until you are. Something tightens in my chest. I stand up quickly. Okay, enough. Good night. Goodbye. Don't bleed again. Bye. I turn for the door, but his hand lifts, fingers brushing my wrist, not stopping me, just touching. Jay, he murmurs. Don't wander alone at night again. If anything happens to you, your scent, your presence, your heartbeat, I can't lose it. I freeze. My stupid heart skips. I yank my hand away and mutter, I'm not your emotional support, Omega. Get some sleep. Then I flee like my sanity depends on it. It probably does. Morning arrives in the mansion like it's trying too hard. Sunlight, birds, luxury flooring, I'm terrified of scratching. I step out of my room to find Alan leaning against the hallway wall, arms crossed, bandaged chest, jaw set. He smells like warmth and smoke and danger wrapped in one scent that makes my brain feel fizzy. And of course, he greets me with, You wandered last night. And you snuck around the mansion like a horror movie villain, I shoot back, brushing past him. We all cope in different ways. I'm halfway to the staircase when he follows. Of course he follows. Alphas follow like it's a religion. What are your plans today? He asks in that too calm tone that means he already thinks he's in charge. I keep my voice casual. Too casual. I'm going to the hospital. He stops walking. To treat patients? Yes, I say brightly, which is technically a lie. More like, I'm going on a trip with friends to drink iced coffee, gossip, and pretend I'm not a semi-kidnapped Omega living with a dramatic Mafia boss. He narrows his eyes. You don't smell like you're going to work. I didn't know hospitals required a scent code, I snap. What, do I need to smell like disinfectant and despair to be allowed in? He steps in front of me, blocking my path. You shouldn't go anywhere alone, Jay. And you, I say, poking his bandaged chest, are literally held together by stitches, tape, fever, and sheer stubbornness. Stay in bed. He blinks. I blink. He says nothing. Then, he leans in, lowering his voice, heat in every word. My scent feels calmer when you're near. Excuse you, sir. I inhale sharply. Nope. No. Nuh-uh. You're not scent flirting your way into this conversation. I'm still going. You can't. But I am. He stares at me like I'm personally offending the entire alpha species. Jay, he says quietly, your pack has eyes in the city. They won't hesitate again. I swallow. For a second, fear tries to slip under my skin. If they want to fight me, they'll have to stand in line. Yesterday was full of people trying to kill me. Honestly, I'm booked. He almost smiles. But then he shakes his head. I'm coming with you. No, I say immediately. You can't stop me. I gesture dramatically at his torso. You're injured. If you sneeze too hard, your stitches will explode and I'll have to sew you back together like a DIY project. His jaw tenses. My presence keeps you safe. What keeps me safe, I correct, is you staying home like a responsible patient. We lock eyes, stare, battle. He exhales slowly. You're too stubborn. And you're too dramatic, I counter. Stay. Finally, he steps back. Fine. I'm relieved for 0.3 seconds before he adds, but I'm sending 2 guards. What? They will watch you. I don't need bodyguards. I'm going to treat patients. He gives me a look like I just said, I'm going to walk into traffic. It's non-negotiable. And that was that. Because apparently, in the Mafia Alpha Handbook, non-negotiable is their favorite word. The guards meet me at the entrance. Both are huge, built like refrigerators, dressed in black suits, and smelling very faintly like gun oil and stubborn professionalism. One of them bows slightly. Sir Jay, we will accompany you. I pinch the bridge of my nose. I am going to the hospital, not a battlefield. Other guard. Boss ordered? I mutter every curse word known to mankind under my breath. But fine. Whatever. I climb into the car. As we drive out of the mansion grounds, I text my friends, Jay. I'm coming. Slightly kidnapped. Long story. Friend. Bring snacks. I typed, I am the snack. Friend. No, you're not. Bring chips. I sigh dramatically. Meanwhile, the guards keep staring ahead like I might evaporate if they blink. Can you relax? I ask them. No, one answers instantly. I was being rhetorical, I mutter. We reach the hospital parking lot. The guards get out with military precision. We will escort you. No, I say. They blink. No? One echoes. I need breakfast first, I say. Go get me something. What would you like? A moment of peace, I mutter. But since that's impossible, get me a sandwich and you get me my favorite coffee from this shop, otherwise I would complain to your boss. They nod, turn, leave. And the moment they're out of sight, I sprint, like my life depends on it. Which, honestly, it might. I slip out through a side gate, hoodie up, quick steps, blending into the crowd. My heart is pounding, but damn it, I feel free. I'm with my friends at the meeting spot. They scream when they see me. Jay! You're alive? We thought you died. I was almost kidnapped. Again. Long story. Tell you later. We pile into the party venue, lights flashing, music blasting, laughter echoing. Finally some normalcy. No mafia, no forest mansion, no scent-obsessed alpha, just... My phone buzzes. It's Alan. I ignore it. If I die happy. Meanwhile, back at the mansion, Alan arrives at the hospital at night. He's wearing a coat over his bandages, walking with that deadly, silent power that makes everyone move out of his way. He sees the guards waiting. Without Jay, his aura drops 10 degrees. Where is he? Guard 1 swallows. He asked for food. Guard 2 quickly adds, we went to buy a sandwich, but when we came, Alan stares, then says with a voice so calm it's terrifying. And you were telling me this now. Both guards go pale. Alan's jaw flexes. His scent sharpens. Feral, cold, lethal. He turns toward the city, eyes narrowing like he can track my soul through the air. Find him, he says softly. But sir, find my Omega, he says again, darker this time, before someone else does. His scent rolls out like a storm. His eyes burn with a frightening mix of fear and fury. Because I didn't just escape his guards, I escaped him. And that is something he is absolutely not built to handle. If anyone ever tells you, Jay, you deserve a break, please punch them for me. Because clearly the universe hears break and translates it to attempt murder. My friends dragged me to a night party by the riverside. Music, cheap lights, idiots drunk enough to challenge gravity. It was supposed to be harmless. I should have known better the moment the DJ shouted, tonight is gonna be unforgettable. Yeah, no kidding. I was just sipping a totally not alcoholic soda. My friends refused to let me drink after the stethoscope incident, when a hand grabbed my shoulder from behind. I turned, expecting a drunk acquaintance. Instead, I got a masked man with a knife. Oh wow, I deadpanned. A kidnapping? Already? At least wait until I dance once. He didn't appreciate my humor. In under 3 seconds, 2 more men grabbed my arms, pulling me toward the tree line. Let go, I snapped, kicking one in the shin. I may be an Omega, but I will bite you. The tallest hissed, shut up and walk. Bro, I'm a medic. I know exactly where to punch so you won't walk again. That got me a gag shoved into my mouth. Rude. They dragged me away from the lights, away from my friends, away from safety. My heart pounded, pheromones spiking with fear and irritation because why did this always happen when I had plans? I heard distant yelling from the party. Someone noticed. But these guys were fast. Too fast. And I was starting to realize none of this was random. The tallest pushed me forward, whispering, let's finish this quickly. Great. I just knew this night would suck. The air got colder as we reached the riverbank, dark water reflecting nothing but the moon. The men looked nervous. Just throw him in. Excuse me? I jerked back immediately. Nope. Nope. Absolutely not. I cannot swim. Pick a different death method. One shoved me closer. I yelled, I am too pretty to die like this. They didn't care. I fought hard. Elbows, kicks, even tried flipping one. But the mud slipped under my feet, and the moment they pushed, I fell. Cold water slapped me like a vengeful ex. The river swallowed me instantly. I kicked, choked, panicked. The water pulled me down, dragging me along with the current. My chest burned, my limbs thrashed uselessly. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think, couldn't... A splash, a voice, deep, familiar, furious. Jay! Warm arms wrapped around me in the freezing water. Strong, steady, terrifyingly gentle. Alan. Of course it was him, because the man had the emotional boundaries of a tracking missile. I felt him pull me tightly, his chest against my back, his voice trembling as he growled, "Don't you dare slip away from me." We surfaced. I gasped violently, clinging to him as the current shoved us. Alan held me against him like I was breakable glass. "I've been searching everywhere," he panted. "Your scent, you were terrified. It was all over the forest." Even half drowned, I found the sarcasm. "Wow, congrats on your creepy bloodhound mode." He ignored that and pulled me to shore with one arm, his body shielding mine the whole time. His jaw clenched. His pheromones were scorching, wrapping around me like heat and smoke, grounding me until I could breathe normally. Once he dragged me onto mud, he snarled toward the trees, not at me, but at the kidnappers trying to run. His men arrived, tackling them instantly, screams, punches, chaos. Alan didn't care about any of that. He cupped my face, thumbs trembling slightly. "You scared me," he whispered. "Your scent disappearing into water? I thought—" He swallowed hard. "I thought I'd lose you." My brain was too cold, too shocked, too oxygen-deprived for romance. So I answered, "Yeah, well, you almost did, so maybe tell the universe to chill." His lips twitched like he wanted to smile and throttle me at the same time. Then he wrapped me in his coat, pressing me against his chest. "Stay with me," he murmured into my hair. "Just breathe. I've got you." And for once, I didn't argue. By the time the chaos settled, Alan's men had caught all the masked attackers, mud-stained, furious, and tied up like oversized burritos. Alan carried me to a patch of grass far from the water, keeping me tucked against him like I was made of feathers. "Stop carrying me," I groaned, burying my face in his shoulder. "I'm fine. Or like 40% fine. You're freezing." His voice dropped low, dangerous. "Your scent is shaking." "I think that's called shivering," I muttered. He ignored me and rubbed warmth into my arms. Then he turned to his men. "Who sent them?" One attacker spat on the ground. "Let me go!" Alan's men tightened the ropes, so I asked flatly, "Hey, geniuses, why me?" Silence. Then one cracked under pressure, voice shrill. "Your pack relatives, they paid us. We were told to get rid of you quietly." My heart stopped. "What?" I whispered. The man continued, frantic. "They said you were messing things up. That you were suspicious, that if you disappeared no one would question it." I think something inside me split. My own pack. My own blood. "They wanted me gone?" Alan stood. Slowly. Very, very slowly. His aura exploded like a storm. Even the tied men flinched. He stepped behind me, one hand gripping my shoulder, grounding me. His voice was quiet. Too quiet. Dark enough to freeze the night. "No one touches what's mine." My brain short-circuited. "Excuse me, what?" His hand tightened protectively. "I don't care who they are," Alan said, staring at the kidnappers like he was choosing the order in which to break their bones. "They tried to drown the person whose scent calms me. The person I—" "That's enough," I muttered, face burning. "We are not confessing your scent obsessions at a crime scene." He leaned down, lips brushing my ear. "I can't help it," he whispered. "Your scent pulls me harder than any instinct I've ever felt, even now." I hated how my breath stuttered. Stupid alpha. My body was exhausted, my mind overloaded, and my emotions somewhere between fear, betrayal, and, "Oh shit, am I blushing?" The world tilted. Alan caught me instantly. "Jay?" "I'm fine," I lied. Another shiver racked through me, then another. The cold from the river was sinking deep. Alan gathered me into his arms again, holding me close like he could warm me by force alone. "You're not fine," he murmured, pressing his forehead to mine. "You're freezing, terrified, and pretending you're okay so you don't worry me." "I'm pretending I'm okay so I don't embarrass myself," I corrected weakly. "You could never embarrass me." His thumb brushed my cheek. "I just need you to stay awake until we reach the car." But my eyelids were heavy, the world blurry. My body drained from shock and cold. I tried to lift my head. Tired. His voice broke a little. Jay, don't close your eyes yet. But I was slipping. His warmth felt too good. His scent too comforting, too protective, too... Stay with me, he whispered again, holding me tighter. I'm right here. I mumbled something like, you're loud. And then everything faded. Warmth, scent, arms. Then darkness. Jay out. Waking up in a hospital bed is becoming a hobby I never asked for. Soft beeping, sterile air, that I almost died again kind of headache. I groaned, shifting slightly, and froze, because sitting beside my bed, head resting on his folded arms, hair messy, shirt wrinkled, breathing uneven, was Alan, the Mafia alpha, the murder machine, the human embodiment of touch my omega and I end you. And he was asleep. Actually asleep. Head on my bed like a loyal golden retriever with anger management issues. His fingers were loosely curled around the edge of my blanket, like he fell asleep mid-protective stance. My chest made a weird, clenchy feeling. No, I whispered at myself. Don't simp. He's terrifying. You're traumatized. You do not pet the Mafia alpha. I reached out anyway, just a small touch, just brushing my fingers through the soft part of his hair. Immediate regret. Immediate addiction. The strands slipped through my fingers like silk. Warm, soft, unfairly nice. Alan shifted, leaning into the touch like he'd been waiting for it. Great, fantastic job, Jay. If he wakes up now, he's never letting you live this down. Before I could pull my hand back, he murmured something in his sleep. Your scent. Softer now. I almost died again. What the? You sniff me in your dreams too? I hissed under my breath. He blinked awake slowly, eyes heavy, voice rough in that just woke up alpha way that should be illegal. Jay? I froze with my hand still tangling his hair. He stared at me, then at my hand, then at me again. His lips curled smugly. You were touching me. I was checking if you were alive, I snapped. In my hair? It's where life signs start, I lied. He leaned closer, eyes warm, voice low. Your scent is calmer today. I like it. There he went again, dropping scent compliments like romantic grenades. I pushed his face away with one finger. Stop sniffing me like I'm aromatherapy. But my voice shook a little. He noticed. Of course he did. Alan straightened, alert the moment he saw my expression shift. His posture changed, shoulders tense, jaw tight, instincts flaring like a protective wall. Jay, what's wrong? Everything. But the words wouldn't form. I tried. My pack, My throat closed. I felt heat behind my eyes. No, nope, absolutely not. I refused to cry in front of Mafia McMuscles, but when I looked at him, really looked, at the dark circles under his eyes, the dried river mud on his boots, the exhaustion clinging to him like a shadow, I broke. Completely. Tears spilled before I could stop them. Alan sat up so fast the chair screeched. Jay, I can't believe it, I choked out. My own pack, my own blood, they tried. They wanted me gone like I'm some useless disposable. My voice cracked hard. I didn't even do anything. I was just living. I folded in on myself, covering my face with my hands. A second later, warm arms wrapped around me. Not forceful, not possessive, just steady, grounding. Alan pulled me into his chest, one hand on the back of my head, the other rubbing slow circles into my spine. Jay, he whispered, voice trembling, look at me. I didn't, because if I did, I'd probably cry harder. He gently lowered his forehead to mine anyway. I'm here. I'm right here. I shouldn't be crying in front of you, I said shakily. I'm supposed to be the sarcastic one, the unbothered one, the emotionally constipated one. He cupped my cheek, thumb brushing away tears. You can be the sarcastic one later, he murmured. Right now, be the one I hold. My brain short-circuited. Stop saying things like that, I whispered. You're making my trauma confusing. He gave a soft huff of breath, almost a laugh, and pulled me tighter. Then he leaned in, lips brushing dangerously close to mine. But at the last second, he paused. Not because he didn't want to, because I was shaking, his forehead pressed to mine instead. "I won't kiss you when you're hurting," he whispered. "It should never feel like I'm taking advantage of your fear." Oh, great. Now I was definitely crying more. His scent wrapped around me, warm smoke, cedar, something grounding and dangerous and safe all at once. It made my chest loosen in a way that terrified me. "Let it out," he murmured. "I'll hold you through all of it." And I did. For the first time in years, I let someone hold me while I cried. And Alan, deadly Mafia alpha, held me like I was the most fragile thing he'd ever touched. It took a long time for my crying to stop. Long enough that Alan probably memorized every stupid sound I made. When I finally pulled back, sniffling like a dying sparrow, he grabbed a tissue and gently wiped my face. If my dignity wasn't already in a coma, this would have killed it. I muttered, "I swear if you tell anyone I cried on your stupid expensive jacket, I'll—" His thumb brushed my lower lip, silencing me. "Jay?" Oh no. Not the gentle tone. Not the dangerous soft one. "You are never going back to them." I inhaled sharply. "You don't know that," I whispered. "I do." His hand rested over mine. "Because they hurt you. Because they put fear in your scent. Because they threw you to people who would have killed you." His eyes darkened, voice sinking deep. "No alpha, no pack, gets another chance after that." He leaned closer, breath warm against my cheek. "You're mine to protect now." My heart did a dramatic little jump. I pretended it tripped instead. "Don't say things like that," I muttered, voice wobbling. "They sound permanent." "They are." I stared at him. He stared right back, like he could see every crack in me, and for the first time, I didn't argue. Not with sarcasm, not with denial, not with distance. I just whispered, "Okay." Alan's breath hitched. Not loudly, not dramatically, just enough for me to feel his whole body react. His arms slipped around me again. Slow, careful, not to restrain, to hold. "Rest," he murmured, lips brushing my temple. "I'll stay right here." And for once, for the first time in my entire life, I believed him. If someone had told me last week that a Mafia alpha would kidnap me for my own safety, guard me like a rare antique, watch me cry, and then try to take me on a date, I'd have thrown a shoe at them. But here I was. Wrapped in a warm jacket Alan insisted I wear, your scent gets thinner when you're cold, being led through a forest path lit by tiny lanterns. Lanterns. Real lanterns. Like we were in a romance drama sponsored by Pinterest. We stepped into a meadow so quiet I could hear my heart trying to do backflips. Soft grass, a blanket spread out, a basket full of food. Little lights hung from branches overhead. I slowly turned to him. "So this is how Mafia men flirt." Alan didn't blink. "It's how I flirt." "Oh, good," I said with a snort, "because I thought you were going to sacrifice me to the forest." He gave me that small, annoyed but soft look he reserves only for me. "I wanted you to relax," he said, "and to talk, without walls, without fear." I sat down on the blanket, picking up a fruit tart suspiciously. "Talk? At night? Alone in a forest?" I raised an eyebrow. "What are you planning, Mr. Mafia Safety Hazard?" He sat down beside me, close enough that our shoulders touched. Then he murmured, "You." My stupid heart did somersaults. "That's not an answer," I muttered. "It's the only one that matters." Oh, great. He was in romantic murder machine mode. I shoved a pastry in my mouth to hide the panic. We ate quietly for a bit, the wind brushing through the meadow, the lanterns glowing softly. Every now and then, I felt Alan's eyes on me. Warm, intense, curious. Finally, I said, "Stop staring at me like that, or I'll start thinking you're planning to wear my skin." His lips twitched. "I stare because you calm me." My brain blue-screened. What? Excuse me, what?" He leaned closer. "Your scent? It's the only thing that pulls me out of my head." I choked on air. "Can you not say things that sound like proposals? I'm emotionally fragile right now." But he didn't laugh. He just looked at me, not with danger, not with possessiveness, but with something soft. Too soft. Terrifyingly soft. And I knew the talk he wanted was coming. The meadow got quieter, the wind gentler. Even the lantern light seemed to settle around us. Alan exhaled slowly, like admitting something to the universe. Jay. I looked up. His eyes were glowing a little. Alphas do that when they're feeling too much. He shifted closer, knee brushing mine. I need to tell you the truth. I swallowed. About the kidnapping? The mansion? The bodyguards? The fact that you somehow know how my scent feels? All of it, he said softly. He cupped the back of my neck gently, not pulling, just grounding me. I didn't escape the hospital because I'm reckless. I raised an eyebrow. You literally walked out while dripping blood on the floor. I left, he corrected, because I heard someone talking about when to attack on you and your scent wouldn't leave me. My heart stopped. My what? He slid his hand down, thumb brushing my jawline, slow, soft. When you treated me, even half-conscious, I followed you by scent. I didn't know your name. I didn't know your face clearly. But your scent, he took a shaky breath. It stayed with me, burned into me, calmed me, anchored me. I stared at him, stunned, overwhelmed, possibly malfunctioning. Alan continued, voice low and raw. I have spent years surrounded by violence and fear. My senses are always on edge. But when I woke up in that hospital bed, you were the only thing that didn't feel like danger. I blinked hard. Are you saying I'm like emotional lavender to you? He huffed a small laugh. Something like that. That's the most unromantic romantic thing I've ever heard. Then let me say it right, he murmured, leaning closer. His forehead touched mine. You're the first scent I wanted to stay alive for. Oh no. That was too much, too honest, too intense. Heat flooded my cheeks. You can't just say stuff like that, I squeaked, grabbing the blanket as if it would protect me. His fingers brushed my wrist. I mean every word. Everything inside me melted, reformed, and melted again. I whispered, why me? Alan's eyes softened in a way that felt like a secret. Because you look at me like I'm human, he said. Not a monster, not a weapon, not a leader, just a man. My throat tightened. And because when you're scared, he added, you still try to fight. I looked away, cheeks burning. So you're saying you fell for my violent charm? His voice was a whisper. I fell for you, all of you. Silence settled. Heavy, warm, full. Then I did something stupid. I leaned forward, just a little, just enough that our lips were one breath apart. He inhaled sharply. Jay, don't say my name like that, I whispered. I might do something reckless. What kind of reckless? He asked, voice dropping. I swallowed. Well, something like, I closed the distance. Just barely, just enough that our lips brushed, light as a sigh. Alan froze, but only for a heartbeat. Then he cupped my jaw, his thumb stroking my cheek, his fingers sliding behind my ear, touch sure but gentle, and he kissed me. Slow, deep, like he'd waited a lifetime and didn't want to rush a second of it. His scent wrapped around me, warm smoke, cedar, that alpha gravity that felt like pulling me into a safer world. I melted into him before I could stop myself. His lips moved with a tenderness I didn't expect from someone who breaks bones professionally. Every kiss felt like a vow. Every breath shared felt like a confession. He pulled back only when I was breathless. My voice came out shaky. If I almost die again, I'm haunting you. His lips brushed the corner of mine, that infuriating little smile appearing. Then I'll keep you alive, he whispered. And close. He kissed me again, softer this time. So soft it hurt. So soft it healed. I whispered into the space between us. This is real, isn't it? His forehead pressed to mine. It is, he breathed, and I'm not letting you go. The lantern swayed gently around us, wind carrying the faintest scent of pine and something like promise. I didn't run. I didn't argue. I let him hold my hand. And under the moonlight, with my heart beating too fast and my lips still tingling, I whispered the truth I'd been avoiding. "Don't you dare break me." He kissed my knuckles. "Never," he murmured. And for the first time in forever, I felt what it feels to be loved, to be owned by someone who sees every broken piece of me and still says, "Stay."